بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Qur'an والدرر, the Juz al-Qur'an and its spells. And practically we are done with Imam Al-Ghazali's selection from Surah An-Nur, but still we have very interesting verses that I don't think it has been highlighted in in contemporary Islamic literature. And once we read verse 43, you will see why, if we succeed in understanding and understanding verse 43 in this session, that should be inshallah enough. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر أن الله يزجي سحابا ثم يؤلف بينه ثم يجعله ركاما فترى الودق يخرج من خلاله وينزل من السماء من جبال فيها من برد فيصيب به من يشاء ويصرفه عن من يشاء يكاد سنا برقه يذهب بالأبصار. Do you not see that Allah, in one translation, says gently drives the clouds, then joins them together, piling them up into masses from which you see raindrops come forth, and He sends down from the sky mountains of clouds loaded with hail, pouring it on whoever He wills and averting it from whoever He wills. The flash of the clouds, lightning nearly takes away eyesight. Do you not see that Allah? Now, yuzji sahaban. Yuzji, if we stick to the etymology of the word yuzji, in Lisan al-Arab of Ibn Mandur, this is the greatest Arabic lexicon. There's a new lexicon that was published recently after, a very large number of researchers worked on probably the most extensive one commissioned by the Emir of the Sharqa in the United Arab Emirates. But in Lisan al-Arab, زجى الشيء يزجو زجوا. Really the meaning is to push, to make it, to facilitate, and to lead. So if a cow would lead its own, the calf, that's tuzji. All of this, the action is in the formation of these clouds, but it's not any clouds. And I think this is really another miracle scientific fact that we have in the Qur'an that will be impossible for anyone at the time to know. So we have the accumulation, piling because that's exactly what it is. I mean, you talk about condensation of moisture, updraft, but it seems it's not going to be an updraft to one of the two lower levels. So anyone who flies knows that within almost a couple of minutes, you'll go through the first level of, if you have clouds, you'll go through these clouds. But then you'll know that you have higher clouds. Anyone who pays attention knows that that's not the the highest limit. I was flying in the United States, and I saw a massive cloud. Literally, when you talk about a mountain, it's not only even it's not a small mountain, very massive. I've noticed that the aeroplane somehow went around this massive cloud, And we landed at Dulles Airport in Washington D.C. Uh, destined to be with the captain of our flight. I think I was coming from whatever. It doesn't make much difference. So I asked about that cloud. He said this is an updraft, and he said that they are instructed to steer away for about 5 miles at least, not to go through that because of they don't want to subject the aeroplane to whatever that updraft. That's amount. Literally, you talk about a massive mountain, because the Quran says min jibal. Now, assume that we need to look up the this kind of cloud. We will reach uh, they are called these mountainous, if you will, massive clouds. They are called cumulonimbus clouds. These are very large vertical uh, clouds. Let's talk about updraft. They could reach the height of we talk about the upper troposphere, upper troposphere close to 6.2 miles, about 10 kilometers, about 10 kilometers, 30, uh, 10 kilometers. So that's the 10 kilometers, that's the height practically where commercial flights cruise. And this is the only cloud that can produce hail, but it's the only cloud that can also produce lightning. So again, the text of this verse: mountains of clouds, really the من جبال فيها من برد, loaded with hail, pouring it on whoever he was. You know very well that some of this hail could be the size of a tennis ball. I've seen large, but not as large as tennis ball, but they were very large in New Hampshire, and it was midsummer, and you have the flash of the coming out of these clouds nearly takes away eyesight. People might not realize that you talk about sometimes the lightning could be millions of volts. Millions of volts. Just compare this to your electricity. It could be 120 volts in the United States, could be 240 in Palestine, and the 240 is deadly if the current doesn't stop one way or the other. Compare this to millions of volts. If it strikes, it burns, it destroys the sound itself. And it says, don't you see? So it's verifiable. Don't you see? It's verifiable. But they would not have seen, they would not know what we know today. So the cumulonimbus clouds, they are tall, vertical. They might even have an anvil shape at the top. So they reach great heights. So you will, even when you are flying and above the clouds, about the second higher level of clouds, you will still, so typically, uh, and you'll still see these mountains of the emerging, massive, very, very, very high, even when you are above clouds. Impressive size, and they develop rapidly. I think developing rapidly is related to USG. And how long do they last? No, they don't last long. Once the sun sets, and they disappear. Subhanallah. They are typically related to severe weather. In fact, this is exactly what it is. ألم تر أن الله يزجي سحابا ثم يؤلف بينه ثم يجعله ركاما فترى الودق يخرج من خلاله وينزل من السماء من جبال فيها من برد فيصيب به من يشاء ويصرفه عن من يشاء يكاد سنا برقه يذهب الأبصار. Definitely this knowledge was not known to anyone, Muslim or non-Muslim. Do you not see that Allah drives, USG, it facilitates, it's rapid, it joins them together, piling them up into masses, the condensation, rukam, from which you see raindrops come forth, and He sends down from the sky mountains of clouds loaded with hail. Mountains loaded with hail, pouring it on whoever He wills, and averting it from whoever He wills. The flash of the clouds, lightning, nearly takes away eyesight. يقلب الله الليل والنهار إن في ذلك لعبرة لأولي الأبصار. Subhanallah, it might be a sign about the end of these massive cumulus clouds that in the alternating of the day and night changes. So what remains? Water. And this is why it's very appropriate. Verse والله خلق كل دابة من ماء فمنهم من يمشي على بطنه ومنهم من يمشي على رجلين ومنهم من يمشي على أربع يخلق الله ما يشاء إن الله على كل شيء قدير. And Allah has created from water every living creature. That's the primary composition. Most of our bodies are water. As human beings, that's the main component. Subhanallah. Most of our bodies could be close to 70%. Some of them crawl on their bellies, some walk on 2 legs, and some walk on 4. Allah creates whatever He wills, meaning more than 4. Think of a millipede insect. Surely Allah is the most capable of everything, subhanallah. And Allah refers to the in this context, these were signs that He did send down. Of course, revelation. لقد أنزلنا آيات مبينات فالله يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. These are signs. The ayat كونية, the ayat of revelation. We use the same word for both. Both are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should never have any contradiction. If there's any contradiction, then it's not scientific per se, it could be theory, it could be pseudoscience, or we might not understand even the verses of the Qur'an. So we might not understand both, but we need to understand misunderstanding both, or that's of course like effectively not finding the compatibility between both that we should find. we need to understand both properly, the universe and revelation. And that's exactly, you don't drop religion, revelation, for the scientific worldview. This is part of both literally are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There should be absolutely no no contradiction. This is exactly what I wanted to share with you today. It's not about the length of the session, and I hope that you enjoy it and you will build on this, inshallah. Until the next session, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.